Hi friends, this is Caitlin and today I am extra excited to share this project with you because it is part of an Instagram hop hosted by Pink and Maine. This is my first time being part of one of their hops and I hope that there are many more to come because these products are absolutely adorable and I can't wait to keep creating with them. I did receive the stamps and dies for free as part of the hop, but I purchased everything else with my own money, and I made this video just to help spread the word about the hop as much as possible because there are 4 opportunities to win a gift card to the Pink and Maine store. For all the details, please check the links in the description box below. I'll be sure to link the Pink and Maine Instagram hop post as well as my own down there for you to check out. My card today features images from the Mugs and Kisses stamp set. I decided to use the cute little Santa mug and his little sweet reindeer, as well as the marshmallows, the whipped cream, and this really adorable little candy cane stick. I'm stamping all of my images with Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink on Copic Xpress-it paper because I'm going to be going in with my Copics to color everything in. As always, all of my Copic shades will be listed in the description box below for you too, just because I know sometimes when the coloring is sped up, it's too quick to see each individual color that I use for each color blend. I started by shading in my marshmallows and my whipped cream using some soft neutral grays, and this really got me thinking. I want to know, leave me a comment below and let me know, are you a marshmallow person? Are you a whipped cream person? I saw someone posting on Instagram the other day and they said they put marshmallow fluff on top of their hot chocolate, and now I want to know, where do you fall in that line? I personally prefer whipped cream and my second choice would be marshmallows. But I want to know, maybe it's a regional thing or a country thing. Let me know where you are, what you like in your hot chocolate the most. For my little candy cane stick, I did try to keep it as a traditional candy cane shades going in with the red and white, but depending on what your theme was, you could easily change up these colors because this stick is just a straight one. There's also a curved one that has that traditional candy cane shape, but with this one you could easily use it with the little penguin and just switch up the colors to make it more of a winter card, maybe in silvers and blues or purples, and not have it be Christmas at all if that's what you wanted. For my red color combination, I decided to try to match it to the red pattern paper that I'm going to be using from the Homespun Christmas paper pack, which I showed in the beginning. I also thought that using the same red color combination throughout the card would help to keep everything in harmony and make sure that everything matched up and looked nice. So the same reds for the candy cane, Santa's hat, and the reindeer's nose are all the same 3 colors, mostly R89, R39, and R46. I think these just make a very true classic Christmas red. That's just my personal preference, and you could use whatever reds you have, but these to me just scream classic Christmas. Now I did change my gray colors up a little bit when I was doing Santa's beard and eyebrows, and I switched over to some cool gray markers, doing this C5, C3, and C1, just adding a tiny bit of shading right around those artist drawn lines and then blending everything out. The trick to keep this looking like a white beard and not a gray beard is to make sure you just leave plenty of white space. And so I kind of added a little bit of shading extra here and there, but I really left the bulk of his beard pure white, and that way, like I said, it doesn't read as a gray beard. I did use my go-to Caucasian skin tone combination for the little bit of Santa's face that you can actually see, which is the E04, E13, E11, and E00. I also went in with a very healthy dose of R20 because Santa isn't Santa without some very rosy cheeks, right? That's like a classic Christmas thing, and I thought that the R20 fits well with the R40s and 30s that we used in the rest of that red shading. I also went in with my white gel pen just to help shade all of this to make it very extra clear that these are mugs and not actually Santa's head. I did decide to give my reindeer a red nose so that he looked more like Rudolph, but you definitely wouldn't have to do this. You could change it up and give him a brown or black nose if you wanted him to be any of the other reindeer. But I also went in with these really pretty reds, still in that R40 family, to give him some nice rosy cheeks. I really love the artist drawn lines of those little circle cheek marks. And then I went in with my E50s to create kind of more of a dark, traditional deer shade. I didn't Google what reindeer look like, so I'm kind of just guessing and trying to remember based off of movies, but I really don't think you could go wrong here with any brown combination for your deer. I did know that I wanted the antlers and the handle of my deer to be a lot lighter than the rest of the face, but again, you could change that up. And I think these would even be adorable in non-traditional colors, or making him all red and white maybe. Because this is a Christmas mug, you could really get creative with what colors you were using to color them all in. These images were all super easy to color, and they give you a lot of space so that you can decide how much detail or not that you want to add to them. I really enjoy the shape of them overall, and this also makes it a lot easier to fussy cut. If you don't enjoy die cutting or you don't have a die cutting machine, you definitely could cut these out very easily by hand. And I think that that's really nice that you have so many options with this set. I also really like the theme of mugs for Christmas because it feels very gender neutral. Like you could easily give a card with these kinds of mugs to anyone, young or old or of any gender. It wouldn't really matter. Not that you can't give flower cards to a guy, but sometimes if you're unsure of what to do, something like this really lends itself to being pretty universal. And that way, especially if you were going to give it to a family, it kind of appeals to everyone all at once, and it's just a no-brainer, which is really nice. I went back in with my white gel pen to add extra highlights to these mugs. It just really ups the shine and I think the cute factor, and I love how it turned out. Then it was time to tape down my dies and get to some die cutting, and I absolutely love that the reindeer die cuts out that little space in the handle. I love when dies have any of those little added extra details. I think it's so cute, and it definitely makes it a lot easier versus trying to have to fussy cut into those openings. Now here's where I did change things up a little bit. I went in with some scissors and cut right around the deer's antlers so that I could tuck the toppings down behind his antlers so it wasn't just sitting on top. And I thought that this just added a really cute touch. And you'll see in a minute I break out my X-Acto knife to do something similar with Santa's hat. I just cut a tiny little slit right at the top of that mug with my X-Acto knife, so that way the marshmallows could sit inside, and I think it just looks so cute. You definitely don't have to do this, but for something so easy, I think it really does help to kind of change up the look. Once I finally decided which mug was getting the whipped cream and which was getting the marshmallows, I added a tiny bit of liquid glue to that top edge of the cup so that I could slide my toppings in, and the liquid glue would help hold it in place while giving me a couple seconds of wiggle room, so that way I could make sure that everything was exactly in the position that I wanted it to be in. I'm so sorry that a couple of these next clips are a little bit off screen. I had an issue lining up my camera today and I just didn't catch it in time, so I hope you can bear with me. I'll try to walk you through everything. I trimmed down my sentiment into a little rectangle just right around the words which say "sending a cup of good cheer," and I decided that it wasn't really standing out enough, so I took one of my red Copic markers and just used the side of it to edge and make a little border all the way around. And then it was time to start assembling the card. I glued down a piece of that beige and white pattern paper to my red, maroon, checkered, or plaid background, and then I added a piece of plain craft paper on top so it would kind of look like a table. That's definitely the vibe I was going for. But then I decided that it looked weird that the mugs were kind of just floating in space. So I went in with my warm gray markers and kind of held my mugs up to the paper and just drew a little line underneath them and then blended everything out, creating that nice soft shadow. It definitely fades over time as the markers dry, so don't be afraid if when you first draw in your shadows they look a little intense. They will fade out and look a lot softer. In fact, in a minute I go back in to add even more shadow to them. I glued my mugs down just using regular liquid glue, but I kind of wish that I had used foam. I think that giving them a little dimension would be very cute, just kind of depending on your shipping needs or the kind of look you're going for, but definitely something to consider. I don't know about you, but for me, it doesn't feel like adding embellishments is ever an easy process. It doesn't come naturally to me, but I really fell in love with these enamel dots and I really wanted to use them. So I decided to get a little creative and try something different for me. And I added 3 of each of the smallest dots on either side of my sentiment, creating a little triangle. I thought that that would kind of help pull attention to the sentiment and add a little bit of glitter without going over the top. Sorry if I'm making anyone nervous using a craft knife to do this, but I'm trying to get used to crafting with these acrylic nails, and there was no way I was going to be able to pick up those dots easily with these things. The knife was much easier. I was just very careful when I did that. I went in to add a little bit of extra shading under my mugs just to give it a little bit more contrast, and then it was time to adhere my main panel to my card base. I stamped one of the other sentiments on the inside of my card using a coordinating red ink, which I thought gave it a cute little pop of color, and then I glued my card base down like normal. I really appreciate you coming to hang out with me today, and I hope you had some fun and feel inspired to make some awesome Christmas cards. If you haven't already, please hit that subscription button below so you can join our awesome crafty family. And please make sure to click on those links to the Instagram hop so that you can enter for your chance to win a gift card to Pink and Maine. Their stuff is so amazing and I'm so excited I got to share it with you today. I hope you have a great week, and as always, happy crafting.